Regarding the first of the ideas, market segmentation, we must keep in mind that we start from a market made up of very heterogeneous people, either because their personal characteristics are different, their desires vary, or their buying behaviors are diverse. Starting from this situation through market segmentation, we can take advantage of these differences to divide the market into groups. Groups that will be internally homogeneous, allowing us to address the people within each group in a similar way, but which differ from the other groups. This way, we will be able to direct our actions more precisely and efficiently. To segment the market, it is essential to conduct research that allows us to understand the particularities of each group, their desires and needs, and how we can satisfy them through our offering. There are more and more headlines showing how people do not feel represented by the campaigns, such as advertising carried out by organizations. They claim that the people shown in these actions are unrealistic, and some campaigns even scare us because of their excessive personalization. Therefore, we must find the right balance to get to know our customers optimally. In this regard, to segment, we must first select some criteria that allow us to create these groups. These criteria can be of different types, objective or subjective, and either general, independent of the type of product or service we are marketing, or specific, those related to the product. Some examples of objective and general segmentation criteria would be age, gender, or habitat. As for specific objectives, these would be those related to the product, such as the frequency with which it is consumed, the way it is used, the situation and place where it is purchased, among others. Regarding subjective criteria, these are more complex to observe, but in general, they tend to yield very interesting results. In this regard, general criteria are related to people's psychographic characteristics, such as their values, personality, or lifestyle, while specific criteria are linked to the benefits sought from each product and their attitudes and preferences regarding the product. Likewise, a highly useful tool, especially in innovation contexts or sectors targeting very specific market niches, is the empathy map. This map is a guide that allows you to precisely define the characteristics of your current or potential clientele. To do this, we must develop each of the proposed sections. First, what do they see? This refers to how your clientele perceives the world and the way they observe it, what their environment is like, who their friends are, what the market is already offering them, in short, what they observe in the market, what they say and do. This point is aimed at understanding their routine, what kind of behavior they have in their day-to-day life, whether on a personal or professional level, what their attitude is in public, what topics of conversation they enjoy, how they act at work, with friends, and with family. What are their hobbies? What do they look like? How do they behave? What contradictions do they have? What do they hear? Here we need to analyze what kind of people they pay attention to. What media do they use? What do their friends, family, bosses say? What about the influential people in their environment? Who are their idols or influential figures? What are their favorite brands? What kind of communication products do they consume? Through which multimedia channels do they receive information? What do they think and feel? Now we reach the most emotional part of people. Here we need to think about what really matters to them, what their main concerns, worries, dreams, and aspirations are. From these four elements, the other two are derived. What efforts do they make? In this part, we should focus on describing what problems or inconveniences the audience faces, so we can try to solve them with our product, service, and capture their attention. We should answer questions like, what are they afraid of? What barriers and obstacles do they encounter in obtaining what they want? What risks do they face along the way and have to take on? What efforts or risks are they unwilling to take? What are the results? What benefits do they expect to obtain? Finally, we need to know what their real needs or desires are and how we can surprise them by showing them the possibilities of our product or service. For this, it is important to know how they measure success, according to what criteria, how they could achieve their goals, and what would put an end to their problems. Developing these 6 dimensions will allow us to have a more realistic picture of the typical consumer of our products, which is useful for developing the rest of our marketing tools or actions.